Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello everyone. Today I'm in my craft room making these. They're post-it note holders. You know those little yellow post-it notes that you have on your desk or by the phone? Well, these are a little holder for those. I just wanted something clever that I could give as little gifts this Christmas. And I have so much paper in my stash, I thought, you know what would be cool? I'm going to make a little cover for my post-it note. I also got some pencils. Now the pencils are a standard size and most pencils, they come in at about 7 or 8 inches. So I just cut off a bit off the pencil and then sharpened it so it would fit in here. So I have used some of my dies as well as some sequins to stick on. I've used embossing folders and I have used punches. The punch gives the scalloped edge there that you can see just at the back. And I'm making this look really hard, but it's not. It's just so easy. It slips in there like that. Now you can use magnets to close it, or you can use Velcro dots. I found the Velcro dots. I made my first one using Velcro dots and it was a bit hard, you know, opening and closing, and it was a bit bulky. So the little idea I have, the way I'm closing these, I feel works better. But like I said, you can use little magnets or whatever you like. So let's put these all away and we'll start on the one that I have here on my scoreboard. I'm using some 300 GSM white card for the base of this post-it holder. The piece of card that I have here measures 11 3/4 and it's whatever A4 or American size paper you have, but this one is roughly around 11 3/4 and it's 3.5 inches wide. So this is what we're going to need for our base. I'm using some purple card for my mats on my holder, and this one measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then my piece of pattern paper measures 4 1/2 by 3. And that will sit on top like that. Then I have two pieces, one for inside and one for outside, and this measures 3 3/4 by 3 1/4, and you need two of those. And then I have another piece of pattern paper to go on that, and this one measures 3 3/4 by 3 1/4, and that will sit on that mat. So that piece of pattern paper and mat will go on the outside, and the other one then will go on the inside. This little piece measures 3 1/4 by 1 1/2, and this will sit at the front. And then I have a piece of patterned paper that measures 3 by 1 1/4. So they're all the mats and layers that we're going to need for our holder. Now these two little pieces are extra. The purple piece is what's going to hold our pencil, and that piece measures 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. And then what I'll do is I will take like any kind of a round object, paintbrush or a pencil, and just use that to get it to roll around. You can also use your scoring tool. So I'm just rolling the paper around my pencil so that it will take on the shape that I want, so that it will hold my pencil inside my post-it note. So there's my scoring tool. If you just run it along the piece of paper like that, that will also curve up your paper, and it just helps you then to stick it down. You won't get any cracking if you do something like that with that to turn it around. So that's how it's going to sit. One piece of my red liner tape will sit down on the holder and the other will stick it to itself. This piece of card, which is scalloped at the end, measures 3 1/4 by roughly 2 inches. Now I've taken a punch and I have scalloped the edge of a piece of card. This is the punch I've used, an XCut punch to give a nice scallop. You can use whatever you have in your stash, or you don't have to use any. You can just cut a piece of card, 2 inches by 3¼ and then you can round off the corners or leave it as it is. But I use the punch like this along the card to get that scalloped edge. I used a long piece of card, and once I had my scallop done, I then cut that down to 2 inches. So let's score our card. Now I have it at the long end, the 11¾ and I'm going to first score it at 1 3/4, and then I'm going to score it at 2 1/8. Then I'm going to move up to 7 1/4 and then score it again at 7 5/8. Once I've that done, I'm then going to burnish our score lines, adding a little pressure, making sure to keep the card nice and straight. And then I'm going to burnish all those score lines. There's only 4 to do. Lovely. I'll just get that last one there, making sure that my card is nice and straight, and burnish that one as well. And this is our basic shape for our post-it note holder. Now you may get post-it notes or have some that are a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. You know, this will just give you an idea for making your own one. So I'm just going to faff around with this. I'm trying to let you see that's where our post-it note will just sit in there between the 2 ends. These are the post-it notes that I'm using that are going to fit in on ours, and you can see there to the right of the post-it note we have enough room for our pencil. So if you're making your own, make sure you leave enough room when you're cutting out your card size that you can fit a pen or pencil in yours. Lovely. So let's put all our mats and layers together. I don't know if you can hear in the voiceover, we are having sunshine and showers here on the west coast of Ireland, and some of it is a little bit hail, so you may hear the rain or hail on occasion on my window that is right beside me here where I'm recording my video. So I'm going to use my Nuvo Glue to stick down my patterned paper to my mats and layers, and you will see that there will be one mat that won't have a piece of patterned paper for it. That's because I'm going to put that on the inside of our post-it note. So this is the smaller one of the 2 pieces that are left here to go on top of my mat, and I find using the Nuvo Glue is great because it gives me a little bit of wiggle time to try and make sure that the border all around is even. Sometimes it's not, but you know what, this is a handmade card, so I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. So this is the bigger of the 2, and this piece is going to go on our mat, and then they are going to sit on the back of our post-it note on the outside. So I'll just stick that down there. I'll get to it eventually. I was going to speed this part up, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it in regular time. It's not a very long video, so there's not much point. So you'll just see me faffing around a little bit, getting these mats and layers glued on. So now we have all our pieces. The piece in my hand is going to sit at the front small piece of our post-it note holder. I'm going to put some glue on that as well, and then stick that down. And we should have a nice border then between the purple matte layer and the white of the card, of our card base for the note holder. So as I said, the white card that I'm using here for my base is 300 GSM. Even though we have plenty of mats and layers going on this, I just felt I wanted to use a nice strong solid card for the base. And I think the 300 GSM works great, but if you don't have that heavy a card, you can use whatever you have in your stash. As I said, if you're putting mats and layers on it, it does help to give it nice strength, you know, so you'll be grand. So this matte and patterned paper then sits on the front. So we have our two pieces, and then I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to put the largest of the three on the back. Now if you have patterned paper that's directional, make sure you stick it down the right way. Ask me how I know that. Yeah, I have gone and made one other one where when I put the patterned paper on the back, when you turn it around, it looks the wrong way around, so I had to very gently peel it back up. But that's the thing about using a liquid glue, it gives you a little bit of time. So this paper is grand, it's not really directional, so I can just plonk it down whatever way I like. So with that then stuck down, that is our cover for our post-it note holder. Oh, excuse me. I'm delighted with that. Lovely. So now we need a way of making sure that it can close, and this is the idea I've come up with. I have put some red liner tape at the bottom of this piece of card. Now you only want it to come up about an inch, at the most about an inch. So if you're using liquid glue, make sure that when you press it down, it doesn't kind of splodge up, because the front cover needs to sit in between the scalloped edge and the little layer there. That's why I've gone for using a tape. So you can use any of your double-sided tapes that's on a little roll or on a dispenser, whatever you like, but only put it towards the bottom inch, just the bottom inch. And I'm going to put this right up against the score line and press down, and it'll sit just like that. And then our cover sits between the scalloped edge and the front edge. Just like that, just slides in there like that. And I'm just going to show you, it just slides in there. And I'm not doing a very good job of showing you, it's much easier when you actually have it in your hand, but it slides in between the two. There we go. Press back on the scalloped edge. See, press back on the scalloped edge and slide it down. And that's perfect. So that's basically, guys, that's it. All we need to do now is put a little thing in there to hold our pencil. Now, I forgot, I had this one mat left, didn't I? The purple one. And that's going to go on the inside. It kind of tidies it up. You could put some patterned paper on this as well, or you could put a piece of white card in there and have to and from, or you could have a little message on it. You know, if you're giving it to a friend, you could have, if friends were flowers, I'd pick you. So any kind of a sentiment you want, you could put in there as well. You could print up a little calendar, you know, a yearly calendar for 2020, and you could stick that on the inside, whatever you like, but I've left it blank in this case. So now I have my pencil in on my purple paper. I've taken off my release tape, and I'm going to roll my pencil in the paper and try and keep this even, guys, so you don't have, you know, it looking uneven at the top or the bottom. And once you have that in there, then just take off the little release paper on the back of my red liner double-sided tape, and then that's going to sit inside here. Now I'm going to try and get this more or less in the middle. It doesn't have to be, it can be, you know, down near the bottom or up near the top, but basically what I've tried to do is make sure it's in and around the middle. So I'll just pop the pencil in there so you'll be able to visually see where I'm putting it. So the pencil is to the right hand side edge, just keeping it over towards the edge, but you know, there's about an eighth of an inch of a gap that you can allow there, and just I stuck that down. So now I'm going to take my post-it note. There is an easier way to release it out of the tape, but out of the, you know, the cellophane it's in, but I didn't realize that until about 4 of them in. Okay, so now you can see with the pencil holder there to the right, I'm going to put a little bit of glue just behind where the post-it notes generally stick down, a little bit there on the left hand side, just to stick that backing paper down. Then I'm going to bring up the bottom of the holder so that my post-it note sits in where it should. And then I'm going to place that down. And again, there will be about 1/8 of an inch or maybe a 1/16 of an inch gap there between the post-it note and the edge of the post-it holder. And I'll bring that up now so you can see. So it doesn't come out flush. It's actually recessed back in a little bit. And there we go, that's it. And we'll again pop the cover on the front. Now you can embellish the front of this. You know, you can do whatever you like on the front. I'm just showing you the pencils, the couple of packs that I have there. Like I said, you can put some die cuts, you can stick down some flowers. With this one, it has a sewing theme. So I have these pins that have little puffy hearts on the top, and I have poked them in. These are the little, these came in a kit that I got recently, and I decided they'd be perfect on my little post-it note holder. Now I have popped these on before I've stuck my mat and layer down to the actual post-it note holder. The little ribbon there, I used my glue gun to stick that down, as well as the one here on this Merry Christmas one, and I have stuck some little plastic stars and a die cut Merry Christmas. This one I have left blank on the front. Most of them I haven't embellished on the front because I kind of thought, well, if these were to go into your handbag, you know, you wouldn't want it catching on anything. So I haven't embellished the front of these. I've just left them as they are with patterned paper. I love the paper on that one. It's like a crossword puzzle. Very cool. And quite masculine, although I know quite a few ladies who love to do the crossword puzzle. So I have a couple more here I'm going to share with you. This one I've used black card for the base, and I've used Wallace and Gromit papers that I got in a magazine during the year. This one is made using Hell's Couple Ditch Christmas Village and some of the decoupage I've put on the front. This one I've used an embossing folder, and the embossing folder for this one is an A4 embossing folder. It's massive and brilliant, and I stuck a ribbon and another die cut on that. This one I have used a die to cut out I Love My Garden, and I've stuck it down. This is another Hell's Couple Ditch inspired little notepad, as well as embossing folder that I've used for the back and on the front. But the images there are by Hell's Couple Ditch as well. And I'll leave links to what I can, guys, down below. And finally then, this last one that I've made using, again, Hell's Couple Ditch Christmas Village. This was the one that I first made. I used some Velcro dots on this one as the closure, but I prefer the other idea I've come up with. I just think it's a bit bulky. Anyway, that's the end of this tutorial for our post-it note holder. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, you might consider hitting the thumbs up and giving me a like. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing, and if not, you might consider clicking on the subscribe icon down below. There's a little bell down there as well, and if you click on that, you'll get notifications of when I post videos. So I'll leave links down below. I'd like to thank you all for watching. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, as well as Twitter. And until the next time, thanks for watching, and bye bye.